Hey everyone, it's Alyssa and I'm back with another video. This video probably looks pretty informal because I'm like, looking a little crazy with my hair and everything. But that's just because this is going to be just a pretty chill behind the scenes video of me packaging up some recent orders I got on my Etsy shop with you. So we're just gonna be chatting and packing these orders together, so you're gonna get to see a little bit of how I do that. And yeah, it's just gonna be a fun time. I don't know if I'll be able to wear this mic the entire time because it is a wired mic, and so I'm gonna have to like reach stuff, and I'm trying to put everything within reachable distance so that I don't need to like walk super far away, because this is a pretty long cord, but not like the longest cord ever. So I just wanted to make sure to preface that this video might be a little janky because of that. So first off, let me just show you the items that we're packaging up today. So I sold this little brass pocket change dish, super cute. You would have seen this in my last video. Basically, as soon as I listed it, it sold. As I mentioned in the last video, I went ahead and listed it pretty quickly because I posted it in a vignette behind the scenes short and TikTok and Reel. And people immediately were in the comments like, when are you listing this? Is this available? I want to buy it right now. And that's kind of what happened, because somebody from the TikTok that saw the TikTok video purchased it. So thank you so much to that person. We'll be shipping this out to you today. Another thing was this really cute little shell dish. This is another thing I had recently kind of shown on my social media. Not sure if that's where the sale came from or not, but really cute little bowl. Another thing that was really popular on Etsy was this America from the Road Reader's Digest coffee table book. This is a map book, but it's from 1982, so the maps are out of date, so this is definitely more of a stylistic book, but that's the type of books that I get for my Etsy shop. I don't get ones that are, like something that collectors would be looking for. I'm getting books that are more aesthetically pleasing to look at, which I know if you are a reader, you might be thinking, what? Why? Like if you're a book collector or something, you might be disgusted by the thought of that. Like, this book is never going to get read. But some people just like books for how they look. And so I get some vintage books sometimes just based off of how they look and then add them to my Etsy shop. And I'm thinking I'm going to start doing more and more of that whenever I can. Sorry guys, my cat just did something. Hold on. Hold on. Long story short, I had my closet door open for this closet that's in my living room and kitchen area, because I have a lot of boxes in there. And so I pulled the boxes out and my cat went rushing in. And so I left the door open because I was like, I don't want to lock her in there. And of course she got into something she shouldn't have and knocked over my golf clubs, which is what caused that big noise. But anyways, as I was saying, this was a very popular book on Etsy as soon as I put it on there. Lots of favorites. It was in like 6 carts and somebody finally purchased it. So it wasn't on Etsy for a very long time, maybe about 2 weeks. But I will be on the lookout for more things like this, just aesthetically pleasing books, picture books, coffee table books that are vintage, because I do think there is a decent market for that. It's not something where you can mark it up a whole bunch. I believe this sold for, I think, $18. So not terrible, because I actually got it for free. And you'll see all of that breakdown in my next video, or it might be the video after that, because I think my next video will still be in January. But the first video of February will be breaking down all the sales I did in the month of January. And then the last thing that we'll be packaging up today is this really cute vintage plate of this little fireplace scene. I just think it's so cute. Has a really nice little stamp on the back. And I've had this on my Etsy shop for a while. And another thing that I got for free, because somebody gifted it to me to put on Etsy, because oftentimes my family is like, we found stuff thrifting that we think you'll like, and so they give it to me to list on Etsy. So it's not like I'm posting something that somebody gave to me to keep personally. I'm posting something that somebody gave to me to post, even though they want me to keep the funds, which is awesome. I really appreciate those type of gifts. Anyways, I keep babbling, so let me go ahead and start getting these items shipped. Also, please don't judge me for the pure chaos that is this little section of paper over here. I just don't really have a dedicated spot for shipping right now, so I do it on my kitchen counter. And so I have to bring in stuff from different areas of my apartment so that I have them within reachable distance. And I knew I was going to need a bunch of paper for this. And so I just brought in a whole bunch of it. And so it's just sitting right here on my countertop. So not a very aesthetic packing video. I'm hoping eventually one day I will have an area that is dedicated fully to packaging, but I have no idea when that'll happen. Maybe one day when I own my own home, which again, I also don't know when that'll happen. But let's get to shipping. All right, so first things first, we do need to ship out this book, which should be the easiest thing to ship because it doesn't need a whole lot of packaging help because it is already pretty sturdy. It's hardcover. So I'm not too worried about it being in a poly mailer. So I am going to probably wrap it a couple times in some newspaper just to make sure it doesn't get like scuffed up at all. Oh goodness, this newspaper is falling apart over here. I probably am going to grab some tape just to put on here, just to seal it up a little bit. That piece does not want to stay at all. Put that piece right there. And then let's get another piece. This is another piece that's kind of falling apart. I didn't always used to keep all of this paper, but because I would get these at like the thrift store when they would, wrap items for me or whatever. But I kind of decided, I was like, you know what, I should keep these because it is kind of nice to have, paper just lying around for when I might need it. I was just always of the mindset, I was like, oh, it's not very professional to use, old newspaper or whatever, even though this isn't like super old newspaper. But I realized, I was like, that's kind of a dumb thought process to have because people know that I am a one-person, shop on Etsy. I am not a professional brand or business, and so I don't think they're expecting for me to have like the most high-grade shipping ever. And I'm hoping people will like that it's a little bit more sustainable to ship like this than it is to have like the most beautiful packaging of all time. This is going to be quite heavy because it is a pretty heavy book. And then we do need to grab a vintage card and little thank you notes. We still have a couple of these left that says 'tis the season to buy vintage. Since it doesn't say outright Christmas, I feel like it's okay to use these until I run out, which I am almost out of them. So I actually am planning to design new ones today. You probably would have already seen that on social media if you follow me. And then this is my logo card, which I always put in. So I just need to grab a Sharpie to write the thank you note on here. So I always just put a little thank you on here. Like that, if you can see it. And then I put a little more detailed thank you on the back of this. We're going to stick them in the bag, and then this poly mailer is huge, so I'm going to just double it over because I definitely don't need it to be that wide. I need to double it over after I peel this off first. I just got these massive poly mailers. I don't think I planned for them to be this big. I bought them off of Amazon and I was like, oh, those are quite large. So I'll just do this and then that. And there we have it, our first order ready to go after I weigh it, measure it, and then I will print out the shipping label and put it on here. Moving on now to order number 2. I think let's do the plate next. Which I'm definitely gonna need some bubble wrap for this guy because very fragile, very beautiful, and so excited to get this out to its new owner. Okay, I just had to cut up some bubble wrap because I had it all in a massive pile and it was all just this big old piece of bubble wrap. So I need to get that into more of a understandable chunk. So we are going to tape this down just to make sure it does not come loose. A little piece for over here. Okay, that feels pretty good. And then we're gonna need some more paper. I'll just tape some of this down. And then I have the perfect box for this plate because this is actually a box I got from my sister for when she bought me a set of plates. And I've got a couple of these, so it'll be perfect for when I do need them. Should be good. Yes, that fits like so well in there. I'm just gonna package around it just to make sure it's good to go. All right, and then we need to get our thank you card and our business card. Let that dry. This is literally so perfect. Did notice there was like a little hole here, so I'm just gonna cover that up with some tape just to make sure no water gets inside. Just do a double taping of that. And then that is order number 2 ready to go. Okay, let's move on now to this little brass guy. Because brass is not fragile, so we should be able to make it work with this. And unfortunately, I don't really have many small boxes left, so I do have to build a box for this. Because I was using just small boxes from Amazon, but I think I've pretty much ran out. So this isn't like a massive box, but it's a little bit bigger than necessary for this little brass guy. But unfortunately, the small boxes that I do have that are smaller than this are a little too small because this thing's pretty wide. So that was the problem there. So we're just gonna go ahead and wrap him in this. And then I have some air bubble things I'll show you in just a second that I'll put just on top and around so that it doesn't bounce around in there. Again, brass is not really fragile, and so I don't have to worry about this breaking, but I still don't want it to bounce around in the process of getting shipped out. So I do have some of these little U-line air bubble things. So I'm just gonna put him inside of there. I love how I'm referring to it as a him. It's literally an inanimate object. It's not a person. But if this brass plate had a gender, it would be a boy, apparently. All right, let's write our little thank you notes. I usually don't bulk ship stuff because I usually don't have multiple orders to ship out at the same time. You know, normally I'm just doing one at a time, maybe 2. But I feel like my Etsy shop's been growing a lot recently, which is awesome, and I'm so excited about that, and I hope that that continues because I feel like I've been working a lot harder at it recently, and so it feels good to have that work pay off. But my thought process has been that maybe in the future with new thank you cards and everything, because I am gonna, like I said, get some new ones made because I'm almost out of these Christmas ones or holiday ones. And so my thought process has kind of been, maybe what I'll do in the future if I have to ship out multiple orders at the same time is just go ahead and pre-fill those out with like the name of the person that ordered and just have them all ready to go so that when I'm shipping, I'm just putting those in there and then I don't have to have them dry off like that. So I think that might be a good option in the future. All right, this doesn't feel too heavy, so that's good. I feel like I was a little bit worried how heavy this item would be, but it's not too bad. And now let's move on to our final item of the day, this adorable little shell. Again, we're gonna build a box for this because we do have some pretty decent dimension with how deep this bowl is and how wide it is. So I needed, again, a little bit bigger of a box. Since this item is glass, definitely gonna need some bubble wrap. I've got a decent amount right here, so hopefully this will be enough. Giving this one a little bit more of a wrap, a little bit more bubble, just because I have more space in this box, so more potential for it to rattle around, get crunched, And unfortunately, if you are an Etsy shop owner who sells vintage, you probably have run into similar things like me, where sometimes these things can get a little bit damaged. So let's see if I can build a little cocoon for this guy. All right, I think I'm happy with that. Let's write our thank you notes. You own an Etsy shop, sell anything fragile, you know how careful you need to be with this stuff because it really can get damaged, unfortunately. All right, that's our final order. Okay guys, I hope you really enjoyed just packing up those orders with me. Now I just need to get them weighed, measured, and their shipping labels printed off, and then I will get them out to the post office. But I hope you enjoyed this little behind the scenes of my Etsy shop with what it looks like to ship items out. And yeah, if you are a person that happens to have ordered from me and you happen upon this video, thank you so much. It means the world to me, and I'm seriously so excited about how my Etsy shop has been growing, because it just feels so good to finally see some of the hard work that I've been putting into it pay off. I really am happy about that. So again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye.